You turn your head toward the source of the sound and see the merchant looking half frozen, waving at you from afar. You wave back, agog at the sight. What's a merchant like him doing in a place like this? You spot a small flower poking its head above the snow. Surely that must be a Solnivia. There are several jutting up from the snow, but you pluck just one and resolve to return to the old woman. You burst through the door, Solnivia in hand. Polka grinds it according to the old woman's instructions and spreads the resulting salve on her back. Ah, that feels better already, she coos. Indeed, she seems to be instantly healed. Thank you ever so much. You must be chilled to the bone, she chirps as she begins preparing you a meal. The party decides there's nothing that cannot wait until tomorrow and agrees to spend yet another night in Icevale. Upon waking, your party begins discussing how to proceed. You suggest abandoning the search for Nuterra and living with the old woman in Icevale. With her back as bad as it is, she might appreciate the extra help. Polka rejects the idea outright. No matter how hard you all might try, there's simply no replacing her son, he reasons. You suggest the party simply turn around and go home. And what home might we be going back to? Polka asks pointedly. He's right. You've nowhere to go. Nor do Legol or Polka. Sure, you gave up on scaling the Endwall yourself, but you didn't have a plan then. Surely, if you all put your heads together... Polka and Trollis, who were already eager to find Nuterra, seize on this idea. Legol, the sole dissenter, can tell he's been outvoted. If that's what you want, he says grudgingly. And so the party resolves to take another crack at climbing the Endwall, but not before checking in on the old woman one last time. You knock at the door to the old woman's cabin, but there's no answer. Might she still be asleep? You walk in to check on her and find her lying abed, cold to the touch. The Solnivia could have been poisonous, Legol posits, but Polka refutes that hypothesis upon examining her. He pronounces her dead of natural causes. From the sub-Terran village to Steelborough to the City of Flame and onward, you've left a trail of death and disease in your wake. If there is a god of pestilence among us, it's me, Legol says, coming to your defense. Polka counters that were you a god of pestilence, the continued good health of the entire party would be inexplicable and, frankly, illogical. Trollus gently strokes your back and suggests you all give the old woman a proper burial. You decide to bury the woman beside the other graves in Icevale, if only so she won't be lonely in death. You wish to mark her grave like the others, but you see no wood from which you might fashion something to do so. Didn't we see a few tree ants on the way here? Polka proffers. Tree ant timber would do the job quite well, he explains. So it's decided. You'll fell a tree ant and use its wood to mark the woman's grave. Legol efficiently breaks down the tree ant. Out of nowhere, Polka starts. "I've just had a brilliant idea," he yelps. "Polka wishes for you to collect more tree ant timber." "Are we building a whole house?" Legol grouses, side-eyeing Polka. The target of his ire, however, is already off searching for tree ants. To battle! I expected nothing less. The merchant is shivering something fierce. Please, you lot are my only hope, he pleads, and lays out his wares. Get him! This ought to be enough wood for our purposes, Polka announces with a satisfied nod. Trollis suggests you stop by the old woman's grave and place a flower on it. "This one cutest," she beams, and picks a single flower from the ground. Flower in hand, you make your way back to Icevale. You fashion the wood into a fine marker for her final resting place and place the flower atop it. You clasp your hands to pray, but no, something's missing. Polka. Where did Polka go? When did he leave? You're certain he was with you right up until you returned to the village. You have to find him. The inside of the cabin is bitterly cold, and you don't mean just the temperature. No one stands behind the front desk, but the inn is still serviceable. You quickly spot Polka puttering around the sand skiff. He takes notice of you too. "We're all set," he chirps. You gather he's been preparing the sand skiff for your eventual departure. You take your leave of Icevale and prepare to face the Endwall once more. As you approach the Endwall, you're intimidated once more by its preposterous scale. "We'll upgrade the sand skiff," you announce to the party. "What sort of upgrade?" Ligol asks. You give him a smug look. You say all you need to do is make it fly. Polka's glasses catch the light just so. "I thought it would come to this. I'm one step ahead of you," he proclaims. On Polka's orders, you set fire to the wood you gathered earlier. The balloons now attached to the sand skiff inflate as the hot air fills them, and the skiff softly lifts off the ground. I swear I've seen something like this before. Trollis is utterly delighted by the unexpected flight. Her joy is tempered by violent gusts that grow more intense as the skiff climbs. It's a bit too dangerous to continue on, so you seek out a suitable landing spot. You strain to see through the blizzard, but you're almost certain there's enough space to land on a protrusion partway up the Endwall. You bring the sand skiff in for a landing. Surveying the area, you see that there's an opening in the Endwall big enough for everyone to fit through. You fashion a torch from some of your sand skiff fuel and enter the cave. That's how it's done. Sometimes you get lucky. That's how it's done. I expected nothing less. Get him. You spot two monsters chattering amongst themselves. You hide, watching them carefully as you strain to hear what they're saying. The party hastily scribbles down the snatches of conversation they've heard. You saw more than your fair share of ice-over rocks on the way here. Might the beasts have stashed the treasure somewhere amongst them? While you were lost in thought, the monsters went about their business and vacated the premises. You gather up everyone's notes and stuff them into your pack. You'll be on the lookout for places matching the description you've heard. Battle time. A masterful victory!